Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sports grow.
What if the biggest story in sports right now, the meteoric rise of Caitlin Clark, was hiding a dark and destructive secret? The internet is on fire with whispers of an Indiana Fever exodus, a shocking plot where her own teammates are ready to quit and flee to Europe. The narrative being aggressively pushed is one of jealousy and betrayal, that these are ungrateful athletes who can't handle a rookie stealing the spotlight. But this story, the one designed to grab your attention and fuel outrage, is a carefully constructed lie. The truth is far more complex and much more sinister. A civil war is brewing in the WNBA, but it has nothing to do with one player. It's about money, power, and a broken system that has been pushed to its absolute breaking point for years. The so-called exodus isn't what you think it is, and what's really happening behind the scenes could bring the entire league to its knees just as it's finally reaching the stratosphere.
Seeing firsthand what Caitlin Clark is worth to this league, especially to
the aggression is undeniable, and it's become a spectacle in itself. Every game feels like a countdown to the next hard foul on Caitlin Clark. We all saw the infamous hip check from Chicago Sky's Chennedy Carter, an off-ball cheap shot that sent shockwaves through the sports world. But that was just the most blatant example. There was the hit from Tiasha Harris of the Connecticut Sun, and countless other moments where veterans seemed to be sending a physical, brutal message. Welcome to the league, rookie. This isn't just tough basketball, it's a pattern. Commentators and former players have called it a form of hazing, a misguided attempt by the old guard to assert their dominance and remind the phenom that she has to earn her stripes. This on-court hostility feeds directly into the rumors of a fractured locker room, painting a picture of a young star isolated and targeted by her peers across the league. It creates the perfect dramatic justification for an escape. Why would anyone want to stay in an environment where they are a walking target? It seems logical that players would flee such a toxic atmosphere, but the physical altercations are just a symptom of a much deeper, more corrosive disease, infecting the league.
WNBA, pay attention. Pay attention. We saw the viewership drop, ticket sales dropping, attendance dropping.
To truly understand the tension, you have to follow the money, or rather the shocking lack of it. Inside the Indiana Fever locker room, a silent financial divide creates an almost unimaginable dynamic. Caitlin Clark, the #1 draft pick, earns a WNBA salary of just over $76,000 for her rookie season. However, she is a walking corporation. Her groundbreaking Nike deal is reportedly worth up to $28 million, and with endorsements from Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson, her off-court income is in a completely different galaxy. Now look at her teammate, Aaliyah Boston, the previous year's unanimous Rookie of the Year, and a cornerstone of the franchise, makes around $81,000 from her contract. Kelsey Mitchell, a veteran all-star and the team's leading scorer for years, is on one of the team's highest contracts. Yet it pales in comparison to what even a bench player in the NBA makes. This isn't Clark's fault, she's earned every penny, but it creates a bizarre reality where one player is a global brand worth tens of millions, while her teammates are, by professional sports standards, making a modest living. This disparity is the root of the real conflict, not petty jealousy over media attention, but a fundamental frustration with a system that has undervalued its greatest assets for decades.
You know why tickets prices dropped? Because people quit buying the damn tickets. People was asking for refunds for the damn tickets. So you want to know what they had to do? Damn near give them away, bro.
This is precisely why Europe became the WNBA's secret shadow economy. For years, the league's stars have lived a double life, playing in America for love of the game and flying overseas for life-changing wealth. It wasn't just a side hustle, it was the main source of income. WNBA legend Diana Taurasi, one of the greatest to ever play, was once paid a staggering $1.5 million by her Russian team to skip an entire WNBA season. They valued her health and performance so much, they paid her more than 10 times her WNBA salary just to rest. Brittany Griner was earning over $1 million per season in Russia. The stories are legendary. Players speak of luxury apartments, personal drivers, and being treated like basketball royalty. A stark contrast to flying commercial and sharing hotel rooms in the WNBA. This overseas empire was the only path to generational wealth. the only way for these elite athletes to earn a salary that reflected their incredible talent. The exodus isn't a new threat born from Clark-era drama, it's a long-standing financial necessity that the media is now conveniently twisting to fit a new, more clickable narrative. And this brings us to the most outrageous lie being spread. Channels pushing the exodus narrative claim that the Caitlin Clark effect is a bust. They'll tell you know why tickets prices dropped, because people quit buying the DMN tickets. People was asking for refunds for the DMN tickets. This is not just misleading, it is a complete fabrication, easily disproven by a mountain of evidence. The reality is the polar opposite. The Indiana Fever are the hottest ticket in all of sports. Their road attendance has more than doubled. Teams are moving their home games against the Fever from their regular arenas to massive NBA venues just to accommodate the unprecedented demand. The Las Vegas Aces moved their game to the T-Mobile Arena, adding nearly 8,000 extra seats. The Washington Mystics shifted their game to the Capital One Arena, home of the NBA's Wizards. Ticket prices on the secondary market have skyrocketed by over 1,000%. Television ratings are shattering records. The WNBA is experiencing a financial boom of historic proportions, and it's all directly tied to the arrival of one player. The claim of fan revolt is a lie designed to undermine the league's growth and stir controversy. With all this new money and attention pouring in, you would think the league would want to keep its stars happy. Instead, they've done the exact opposite. In a move that can only be described as a secret war against its own players, the WNBA instituted a draconian prioritization rule a few years ago. On the surface, it sounded reasonable. The league wanted its players present for the start of training camp to build team chemistry and honor marketing commitments. But its effect was devastating. The rule states that if a player's overseas season overlaps with the start of the WNBA season, preventing them from reporting on time, they can be fined and even suspended for the entire year. This wasn't a suggestion, it was an ultimatum. It was a power play by the league owners to sever the financial lifeline that had sustained players for decades. They were forcing their stars to choose the fame and platform of the WNBA or the multi-million-dollar paychecks from abroad. You can't have both. This rule effectively trapped players in a system that still dramatically underpays them, turning the dream of playing professionally in America into a golden cage. The risk of playing overseas was always there, but it was abstract until it became a terrifying global headline. The story of Brittany Griner is the ultimate cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the dangers that come with chasing a living wage in foreign land. Her DNA'ble detainment in Russia for carrying vape cartridges with cannabis oil was not just a random, unfortunate incident. It was a direct consequence of the WNBA's pay structure. If Griner had been compensated at a level commensurate with her talent in the United States, she never would have been in Russia in the first place. She was there for one reason, to earn the million-dollar salary the WNBA couldn't provide. Her ordeal exposed the dark underbelly of this two-continent career, revealing that players were not just risking injuries, but potentially their freedom and their lives by playing in geopolitically unstable countries. The allure of the overseas paycheck suddenly came with an unbearable price, adding another layer of impossible complexity to the player's dilemma. This is the collision course the WNBA is on. The players are trapped in an impossible paradox. They face on-court hostility and a media narrative that paints them as villains in their own league. They see a rookie come in and instantly attain a level of wealth they could only dream of, highlighting the systemic inequities they've endured for years. They look to Europe, the traditional escape route to financial security, only to be blocked by the league's punishing prioritization rule and haunted by the terrifying precedent of what happened to Brittany Griner. So the great exodus isn't happening, not because the players are suddenly happy, but because their escape routes have been systematically cut off. The real story isn't about a few players quitting on Caitlin Clark. It's about an entire generation of athletes reaching a boiling point. With Clark's arrival generating more revenue than ever before, the pressure is building. The Cold War between the players and the league is about to turn hot. The question is no longer if the players will rebel, but when.